All right, hello everybody. Let's see here. Perfect. All right, so I see a couple of you are in here. We'll give everyone about a minute or so to jump on in. Today's session is going to be about social media, Facebook, and more. Hi, Russell. I love all of your hellos. That was awesome. Yeah, so we do have a lot of stuff that we're going to cover today. Some of it's going to be a little in-depth. This might have to be one of those sessions that if there's questions about anything specific, we might have to break that off and then make it its own individualized session. So that might be something that we'll be doing. So there is a lot that we're going to go through today. I'll give everyone just a few more minutes here. Now it's still kind of early on the west side of the country and pretty late on the east side of the country. So some of you might be having dinner. Some of you might just barely be getting off of work or still at work. Let's see here. Perfect. Oops. All righty. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. There's a couple of you guys in here. Now, if you do have questions or anything like that, just make sure that you are plugging them into the comments section, and I'll get to those as quickly as I can. So again, today's director session is about social media, Facebook, and more. Starting it off with a nice little quote. So content marketing is a commitment, not a campaign. That is by John Buscall. He's a professional photographer. He's pretty famous with a lot of the content that he does create. He does do a lot of content marketing for a lot of major corporations, businesses. But I always like this quote because it does give you a little bit of a difference. Some people, hear the word marketing, they think that it's hand in hand with what a campaign is, where a campaign for social media is a little bit different, but they do go hand in hand together. And marketing is a commitment. So just like anything that you do with your cornhole events, creating your business, anything that you're doing, content marketing is a huge commitment because you do have to stay on top of it and take care of it. Same thing with creating your tournaments, keeping up with your players and things like that. So this is just another really, really good tool in order to help all of you succeed. So starting off, what we're going to do for this particular session is learn how to elevate your online reach across multiple platforms. So our key session takeaways would be Facebook, Instagram, Nextdoor, and MailChimp. Importance of a cohesive social media strategy, quality content, and use Canva to your advantage. Now, those of you that have hopped on, if you didn't get a chance to look, we did do a part 1 of a Canva training. That'll be the video before this one. So that'll help you guys with some of the information that we'll go through here today as well. So a few foundations of a strong social media strategy. So you do want to define your audience. Who is it that you're targeting? Are you targeting businesses specifically because you want sponsorships? Are you targeting players? Are you targeting new players? Are you targeting schools? What exactly is your purpose of what you're creating? Consistent branding. So keeping your visual and message consistent across your platforms. What's really nice about Facebook is they do have a meta space, and that actually links up a couple of your social media platforms. So your Instagram and your Facebook, because they're owned from the same company, can get, you can push everything through each individual one, which is really good. And it makes it a little bit quicker. There are a couple of things that, depending on the type of photo or anything that you load, sometimes it doesn't translate that well on Instagram, but that'll be something we'll probably review later on. So just keeping everything, consistent across all of your platforms is incredibly important. Engagement is key. So you do want to constantly, respond to comments, messages, and feedback, as quickly as you can. I know that we all get busy, but the moment you get that notification, someone comments something, make sure that you are engaging, because that is going to show, one, that you care, two, that you want to get to know whoever it is, and it makes it more of an inviting environment. Content calendar. This is a huge one. So you do want to plan your posts ahead of time to stay organized and consistent. You can write a content calendar out. You can create your own calendar. There's a handful of content calendars out there, but you could do it pretty simply just using a spreadsheet as well. What I like to do is figure out what my purpose is for that particular month, create a content calendar where I'm at least posting a minimum of 3 posts a week is what you want to target. If you can do more than that, that's phenomenal, but 3 is going to at least give you a little bit of consistency. People will be able to see, what you're doing, but 3 posts of something. So some type of content. You could say every Monday is going to be, here we are, talking about a player. Maybe every Wednesday you do a podium post, and maybe every, Thursday, whatever the case is. But I know we get really into, just doing podium pictures, which are great, and they're really, really good for the players. They share those, but you can engage and create a little bit more just by providing some information. A really good thing that you could do is the player engagement. You could always reshare that as many times as you want, but just keeping your audience, give them information that they need to know. Like, did you know this? Did you know that? Things like that. That's going to help them as a player, but also keep them engaged. All right, so this looks a little bit crazy, but this is a social media marketing tree. And this kind of gives you a handful of the pillars of what is social media marketing. Some people say it's posting a picture on Facebook. Well, sure, that's part of it, but it is so much more. So one of the big things about social media marketing is you want to start at all levels. So brand engagement. Who are you? You're a cornhole club, or you run events. Lead conversion. You want people to be led to your events, to find you. Social media campaigning, geolocation targeting. It says geo-targeting, but it's geolocation targeting. So it'll ask you, what's your area? What's your base? What area are you trying to target? Who is in your reach? What is it that you want? Do you only want people within your community? So you type in the community names. Maybe you want someone statewide, so you make sure that that post goes statewide. User engagement. Are people liking and following? Are they, following what it is that you're doing? Followers. There is a difference between followers and likes. Followers will get more of those instant notifications, whereas if you like a page, it's just going to keep coming up on your news feed as long as that particular person is consistently engaging with them. So as long as they follow you, they're getting those notifications, they like you or they like your page, then they're just pulling up on your feed. So there's definitely a difference. Followers do get more engagement than actual traditional likes. So that's something to keep in mind. Click-through rate. If you make a video, are they watching the full video, or are they 2 seconds in and they're like, meh, next? Some people are, don't want anything too long. A call to action. So call to action. What are you trying to do? What's your purpose? What is the entire purpose of creating one post? Advertising networks. That's I have my own thoughts when it comes to advertising, and we'll touch on that a little bit later. But this is a great way that you can utilize for your sponsors. Tag your sponsors and everything. Use hashtags. You can create a little social media branding kit that you can just copy and paste as you need it. So one of the examples here is just wanted to show you all some important key elements to remember as you build your social media portfolio and front-facing profiles. So right here, this is a breakdown of what my club's social media looks like. So our average reach is about 12,000. 3-second video views, you average about 531. 1 minute views, 52. And then minutes viewed, 5 hours and 29 minutes of anything video related content that we have. And then content interactions, 747 average. So a little bit of, breakdown where it kind of shows you what your reach is. So our total reach, 12,235. 903 came from followers. 11,359 came from people who just happened to find us. And the way that works is they're finding us because we're tagging all of these businesses, because we have amazing players who share our posts. We're providing something that players and even some of our sponsors want to engage with. They want to share. We're getting different viewership. There's folks, grandmas who will comment on some of our posts because a player shared it. They're commenting it on their actual page, but it does translate over to us. So it's almost like this long branch that's continuously moving. And your original post is like the trunk of the branch. And every person who shares kind of built up those leaves, the branches, and everything. And it all kind of works its way down. So you have all these players, all these people who are allowing you to just reach and target a much larger, broader audience. There you go. So maximizing Facebook for your brand. Facebook is one of those things. Now, if you do ask maybe someone who's in Gen Z, they will tell you Facebook is for the older generation, which is what it sounds like we all are. But Facebook is going to be a huge part of what we do. Most companies use it, businesses use it. Everyone wants or needs a Facebook group or a Facebook page. So they're all front facing, and Google loves Facebook because of an agreement that Google has with Facebook, and Facebook owns Instagram. So it's all this encompassing kind of bubble, which is why you want everything to be the same on all of your social channels in order for it to pull from Google and show relevancy. So leverage your Facebook group, engage with niche communities. So this particular thing right here, it says engage with communities. I am in community Facebook groups. We do have some really, really good Arizona cornhole groups. I am in all of those. I do try to be very mindful to not dilute and not completely dump everything that I have in there. I used to post podium pictures in there, but I felt that I was just constantly pushing everybody's things out. If folks want to see the podium pictures, they can come to my page, but event specific and things like that, I always try to do my best to not put too much information there when those are, the intention is community and to have conversations and, yes, to cheer each other on. But we do run a lot of events throughout the week. So I try to do my due diligence to not flood a group that I don't own myself. Facebook events, I will climb on a hill and yell it from the rooftops or from the hilltops. Use Facebook events. This is extremely important. It's going to help you so much more than you think it will. It's great to promote upcoming events, even if it's a Tuesday swap, a Monday night BYOP, a fundraising event, whatever it is that you have. Promote it, promote it, promote it, promote it. This is going to help people who are just looking for things to do. Someone could type in cornhole in the little Facebook search bar and cornhole near me or whatever the case is, or events near me. Your event page is going to pop up and it's going to show to so many different audiences. Now, what I like to do is create an event page, maybe put a little blurb on it, and then share that. We do have a Tucson events, Southern Arizona event. So we do have other dedicated Facebook groups just for Southern Arizona that I pop in and I just share, one of those, or if I really want to promote a fundraiser, if I really want to promote a specific fun event that we're doing, I do just dump it in there. And then that kind of gets, some buzz generating for it also. Facebook Live. Facebook Live is great. It's really, really good for real-time interaction, questions and answers, or behind-the-scenes content. One of the biggest things that I like to do if I get a chance to step away from the table, sometimes we're running a live stream on Court One, sometimes it's just on our phone if I didn't bring the equipment over, but sometimes it's just really fun, showcase, hey, here's a quick live, here's what we're doing. Tonight's karaoke night. We've got one of our players singing Britney Spears, and we've got another player, who's, on the boards, and everyone's singing, everyone's having a good time. We're showing a live engagement. You can answer questions. If you do go live for a match, I highly and strongly encourage that you also educate the public. Hey, this is an ACL local event. We are here at Triple Play Cornhole. We've got this player and this player playing against each other. Player A is throwing, Reynolds bags. Player B is throwing Dragon bags. And this is the type of bags. Oh, if you want to know where to get them, visit their websites, whatever the case is, maybe you're personally not receiving some type of kickback from those companies, but it's giving us an opportunity to educate the public. And then people are going to come back to you to say, hey, when they do their live feeds, I actually know what people are throwing. I know what's going on over there. So we're just providing as much information. Now, sometimes we'll just do a couple of lives. Sometimes it'll be a quick little, everyone says hello to everyone. but something to kind of keep that video engagement going on your social media channels, which also helps you with relevancy. And it shows that you guys are real, you're real people, and it shows kind of what, you know, the vibe, I guess, is of your area. So it's super nice. Paid advertising, tips for using Facebook ads to target specific audiences. I do not do paid advertising. I actually have my own opinions on paid advertising. I don't use it. Most of ours is all 100% organic as much as possible. I'm a strong believer on the power of our players and everybody, you know, actually sharing everything. Word of mouth is huge. But having to paid, you know, a paid advertising, if I think about it, if I'm looking for something, if I go to Google, maybe I want a garbage repairman, and I say, okay, I need someone to fix my garbage disposal. I need them to repair it. First thing that comes up, sponsored. And in my mind, well, they paid to be there. They paid there to be number one. I don't want the guy who paid for it. I want who everyone talks about, who everyone reviews, you know, maybe that mom and pop down the street, whatever the case is. So I have my own personal feelings for paid advertising. I think it works depending on what you're doing. I do not use it. I do not spend money for paid advertising. I just post a lot of content. Let me answer some questions really quick here. How much time do you spend per week on social media management? So Corey, that is a great question. It really depends on the week and how much I can get done. So if I have events coming up or if I'm traveling, generally what I do is I sit down on a Sunday. I will dedicate about 3 to 4 hours on a Sunday, create my content. And what's really good about Facebook is you can pre-plan every single post, and I do it for the whole month. So I probably spend 4 hours on a Sunday specific to my events. Now, for certain events, like if I'm running a live event, or this past weekend I had our North versus East versus West versus South event, all of that I was posting in real time. So all of that was in real time, but a majority of my posts that you do see on Facebook, I've pre-scheduled. Unless it's a podium picture, then those are generally live and standard at that time. A good question. Cowboy Chase, can you refer me to a live stream specialist? I don't really know any good ones. I don't know what to tell you. I'm just kidding. Cowboy Chase, he would be the one that you would want to go to. He knows the cameras, lots of cameras, an unbelievable amount of cameras. He can give you lots of really good feedback on those. But he is a great person who you can go to, and hopefully he'll be doing one of these sessions on some live streaming equipment pretty soon here. So Facebook events are your friend. Again, I'm going on that hill, I'm going to yell it from the rooftops. Facebook events are going to help you build your algorithm. The amount of information you give out there, as long as it's consistent, Google is going to say this is relevant, this is important. It's all the same thing. No one's changing things. So it's going to keep it, you know, similar. Right over here, if you take a look here, these are some of the past events that I have. Every single event, Monday night, any of our fundraisers that we have with the community, Directors Cup. Here's some events that are coming up. Today we have a cornhole event, local night. We have a Triple Play Tuesday event with one of our sponsors sponsoring our Tuesday night. And then we're going to go to the Vail Preservation Cornhole event at the Pima County Fairgrounds, and we'll be running events there. So that's super helpful, having all this information out there, tagging those businesses. So if they're a sponsor, add them as a co-host so that, you know, all of their audience, when they look at them, they're going to go to their page, it's going to show an event, and your event is also on their page. So it's almost like a little bit of a double dip, and you're also using their audience as well. If you get that shared event link, you want to link it to your website. If you have a Facebook group, share it to that group, share it to your personal page, you know, encourage some of your players to share it to your stories, whatever the case is, just get the information out there as much as you can. I usually do one big push, and then it kind of, you know, works itself out after that. Engaging your audience with Instagram. So Instagram and Facebook, for those of you who might not know, they actually had a merger a few years ago. So Facebook owns Instagram, and they're all connected through what they call the meta space. So all of that's connected. So you can post something on Facebook, click that you want it to go to your Instagram, link those accounts, and then it just pushes it to both at the same time, which is good. Storytelling through images. So use stories and reels for behind the scenes and personal content. We don't just want to say, here's a podium pic, here's a podium pic, here's a podium pic, because we are more than just the podium picture. We are the players. We're the, they're using the scoreboards. They're, helping you pick up, your boards maybe at the end of the night. Maybe you're singing, maybe you're dancing, maybe you have this crazy event and everyone's in costume. Showcase what you can. We had a really funny situation happen, and it was probably the highlight of the weekend at our event this weekend. And we had this group of players staring at a bag, hands on knees, bent over, watching this bag, waiting for it to fall because it was going, but it was taking its sweet time. So I was sitting on the other side, took a picture of it, and used it for one of my posts for today, just saying, the bag might be, slow to go in, but we're not slow to release our information. And then I just posted a couple of events that we have coming out. Hashtags and geotags. Extend your reach by using trending hashtags and location tags. Most of my events, I will use a hashtag for our area. So I would, hashtag our town, Sahuarita, hashtag Tucson, hashtag Rio Rico, hashtag Green Valley, and then hashtag triple play and, a couple of areas. So if someone is searching for that, or maybe they want to buy a house in Sahuarita, or maybe they want to find Sahuarita School, the name is within the hashtag. My hashtag is now relevant. It's going to bump that information up. So doing that, keeping it consistent. I actually have a Google Doc where I have hashtags for my local events, regional events, and then I have some just for random fun things that I want to do or specialty events. And all I do is copy and paste. If I'm mobile on my phone, I just plug it onto my phone. I have a little notepad in here, copy, paste, and it's super quick. It takes, maybe 2 seconds to create a post at that point. Collaborations and influencers. So partner up with players and venues to expand your visibility. Maybe you have a pro player, some elite players, or even just players who just love to share your events, which is phenomenal. They get excited about it. You get excited about it. They share it. On the bottom part, it'll show the little share symbol. Click that symbol to see who shared it. Jump on there. Thank you for sharing. This is awesome. Can't wait to see you there. Hope your bags, fly straight that day. Whatever it is that you can do to engage with that player, because it shows them, thank you, I see you, I appreciate you. And, hopefully they continue to share more events in the future. Venues, same thing. I always ask a triple play to add anything over there, or if they can share it as well. The venue we were at this past weekend, the owner shared it everywhere, which was super cool to see. User-generated content. So encourage followers to share their content with your brand and reshare it. So same thing, just sharing all over the place. If you have a watermark, I highly encourage watermarking some of your photos, especially if it is a specialty event. And if you don't have, a background on it, always put a little watermark with your club page or club logo on it, just to kind of protect your brand, but also so people can constantly see it, because players love posting everything. And if you watched the Canva training that we did the last week, it does show you how to create a transparent image. You can use that to create your watermark. So it's pretty quick with that. Let me see. And it was D-Boy, of course. Yes. D-Boy was in a couple of videos that we did this past weekend, which was fun. Tapping into your local community with Nextdoor. Not many people know about Nextdoor. It is starting to grow. Nextdoor is huge in our community. We are in a retirement home community, and we live very close to golf courses, and they all use Nextdoor. I strongly encourage you get onto Nextdoor. They're free accounts, nothing too crazy. It's almost like a smaller version of Facebook and a little bit more simplified. There aren't too many bits and pieces to it, but you can create events there. You can blast it to people within your community, which is nice. And it's just another place for Google to say, oh, okay, you're also on Nextdoor. So it's just pulling all of that targeted audience. It's showing that here's the same verbiage, here's the same message, and it's increasing your boost on Google, which it also does help you as well, especially if someone looks for cornhole in the area. Maybe they go to images, or maybe it just pulls up your club because you're trending and you're relevant, which is good. Hyper local marketing. So tailor your messaging to appeal to nearby residents. Again, just make it fun. Have fun with your posts. Put lots of information in your posts. You can make fun of, the area, talk about what's going on, say, hey, tonight at sunset, we know our sunsets are beautiful here in Arizona. Come on out, view the sunset, and toss some bags with us. Just something like that to kind of provide a little bit of engagement. And, maybe someone types in the word sunsets in Arizona and your post comes up. So it's a win-win situation for everybody. Building trust. So again, kind of going back to helpful community-focused content to build credibility. Podium pictures are one really good thing, but also sharing what you guys do. Some fun things is showing that, you're human, you're a group, and you're not just about bringing people in just for that. You're creating a community, you're creating a space for everyone to get a chance to come together and, share the same, community feel that they want. So that's kind of what you're looking at for that. And it's helpful as well. Promoting local events. So again, using the event feature to invite neighbors to your activities. So you can invite, neighbors. Nextdoor does have this little, feature. You can say invite neighbors, invite my community. It just sends them just a little bit of a notification. Hey, there's an event in your area if you want to visit it. And, it showcases everything there for you. All right. Combining social media with email campaigns through MailChimp. I love MailChimp. I know that Rhonda, a couple sessions ago, had asked about MailChimp. And I told her that I would cover it a little bit in one of our social media talks here that we have. And MailChimp is amazing. I loved using it for our state event. It is clean. It provides lots of really good templates. It's great for email marketing campaigning. So you can use it to notify your audience about, new social media content. The preferred method is, hey, I have a regional coming up, come on out. Or maybe you have your state event, or maybe your interstate event, and you want to make sure that all of your players know, hey, this is coming. So it's a really good way to kind of get them that information. Now they can opt out of receiving email notifications, so that is their right as well. They can unsubscribe to it, but at least they do have the opportunity to get that information. If any of you have ever been to one of our opens, we actually use Kajabi for that. So at the opens, use Kajabi. For myself personally, because I don't need it at that scale, I do use MailChimp. Super easy to use and a lot of fun as well. You can set up automated messages that do send those particular emails at a certain optimal time. I usually try to want to send those either on a Sunday or send them after 5:00 p.m. So if possible, doing that. Or I like to send everyone an email as early as 5 in the morning because I'm just up at 5 a.m. and sending those. Make sure that you do add all of your social media buttons to MailChimp. So you do have the ability to put your Facebook logo, LinkedIn, Nextdoor, and a couple of other options there. So whatever you have, link all of those in there, because sometimes the players, they get curious, maybe they want to follow it. And then make sure when you do send your emails out, you can target a certain audience. So if I have a regional, sometimes I pull a CSV file, get all the emails, add them to MailChimp and say, hey, here's some quick information about this weekend's regional. Here's the schedule again. Make sure you have your push notifications set up. I add the push notification video that the ACL has available just to try to give them as much information as possible. And that's really, really helpful as well. All right, so streamlining your social media management. A lot of folks who do use social media, they do use tools for automation. So there is a couple of things. Hootsuite is a really good one. You do have to pay for that, and it does get a little bit pricey. But essentially with that, you connect all of your social media channels. You have one central hub. You create your post. You add all of your information. Hootsuite will just blast it everywhere that you want it to go, which is pretty neat. I personally just go, in between each one, copy paste. If I see an error, I don't want to blast the error everywhere. I want to be able to fix it in case I do something wrong. And that's really, really helpful. Buffer is another one. Not too many people use Buffer, but that's also a good one. And then there's another one called Later, and that just helps schedule everything out. So almost similar to a content calendar, but it still provides the information. Repurpose your content. So once you create something that you love, again, we covered it a little bit in the Canvas session, but if you create something that you love, maybe it's a flyer and you're like, you know what? I can live with this. I'm going to marry this flyer for the season, and I'm just going to update the details. Do that. Totally fine. Players will eventually know visually once they see that. They know what it is. They know that means that's a regional. They can kind of attach those colors, that particular formatting that you do with what that event is. So keeping something consistent. I have cover photos for Tuesday specific events, Monday specific events, and fundraising specific events. So if they see cover photos on an event that I post, they know immediately before even reading what's going on that that's what it is, because it's consistent across the board. Monitor engagement. So use tools to track interactions and adjust your strategy based on feedback. What's really good about Facebook is it does provide a little meta space where you can look at engagement. You can figure out, okay, well, this particular type of post with a video, maybe 160 people looked at it. But this post with everyone staring at a bag that's slowly making its way into the hole and everyone's trying to figure out what's going on, that reached, over 500 people. So you kind of have an idea of what your key audience does enjoy, and that kind of helps you learn as a director, but also as someone who is going to run their own social media. What do my players like to see? What do they enjoy? Do they prefer videos? Do they prefer just straight content? Do they like a quick 20-second clip over a 1.5-minute video? It gives you a lot of information, and every area is different. You will never find one area that's the same across the board. So a few key metrics then, just understanding social media analytics. Key metrics is your reach is very important, your engagement rate, click-through rate, and conversions. And essentially what that means is reach, how many people are you reaching with your specific post? And that is inclusive of other players sharing your posts. Engagement rate, how many people are liking and sharing, maybe commenting, are there certain posts that people engage with maybe a little bit more than others? And click-through rate, that's a big part when it comes to your stories and your videos. Are players actively watching from beginning to end? Or once they hit 30 seconds, and I'm done, and they move on to the next one. That gives you a little bit of information there. Facebook Insights and Instagram Analytic. Again, learn what's working and what's not. It is okay to pivot. Maybe you made this awesome video and you're like, I'm going to release a video every single time, all the time, to announce everything above the moon. And you realize maybe it's not what your audience wants. So it's okay to pivot, change what you want to change. It's 100% fine. Use MailChimp Analytics for email success tracking. So that's really helpful if you're using it to engage your, players. Hey, this is what our entire month looks like. If you have that available, here's what all of the regionals look like. Here's information that's happening in the state. Whatever the case is, you're going to know very quickly what players and your audience actually care to learn and what information that they want, and what they're going to open. It does tell you how many people opened it, and it also tells you how many people just deleted it and moved on. So that kind of gives you a little bit of an idea there too. Adjust and improve. So just use your data to improve or to inform your content strategy and post timing. So maybe you realize, what, Sundays aren't the best day to post anything. I'm going to switch it to maybe every Wednesday. Or I realize that as people are actively playing, they're on their phones while they're waiting. That's the perfect time to make my posts. Whatever the case is, your area, your audience, your players better than anybody. So you can always, change and mold what your social media platform is going to look like based off of your audience. So a few bits or recap of some of the key takeaways. So again, just stay consistent. Consistency is always key. Make sure that you're at least posting 3 times a week, if at all possible. Engage with your audience is huge. It shows that we're human. It shows that we care, and it shows that we hear you, we see you, and we hope to see you as well. And then use analytics. As crazy as it sounds, and with the numbers and everything, it looks a little daunting, but it's all incredibly helpful. So that's a little bit of a pretty deep dive of some of those key elements on what you should do, what helps, what doesn't help, and kind of what goals for some of the social media content strategies look like. Let me see here really quick to make sure I don't have anything. Yep, perfect. Yeah, so that's a little bit of everything with that. So if you guys have any questions on anything, I know some of the items I might have breezed through a little bit. This was more, kind of informational, kind of letting you understand exactly what the purpose is of social media, how to really, use it to your advantage. The previous session that we did shows how to create that content. So if you want to kind of know how to create some of those key items, the previous video is going to help with that. A future video that we'll do is we will have one where we're going to create an actual flyer. So I might reach out to maybe a couple of directors and we'll run, create some flyers or maybe a little bit of content live during one of these sessions, just to give you guys a real kind of timing on how long does it take, what information do you need, and how it works. So that's kind of the future goals with that. But yeah. So if anyone has any questions, I don't think I missed anything. And I'm going to share Cowboy Chase's right there, because that's who you want to see, Mr. Chase. For live stream equipment, and hopefully Chase again is going to be available to answer those for you guys in a future session. I'd love to be a part of the flyer project. Okay, cool. Yeah, that sounds great, Corey. So we will send me a message, we'll connect, and then I will look at where our upcoming sessions are coming, just to make sure that it's going to align with when you also need it. And we'll definitely do that with creating a flyer. So just let me know what kind of flyer that you're looking at getting made, and we'll use that for the live video. So that's awesome. Thank you, Corey. Mm-hmm. All right, perfect. So it doesn't look like we have too many other, oh, here we go. I missed the first part. What is the flyer project? The flyer project that I mentioned earlier was just in a future video, just to give you all a deep dive and show you exactly how long it takes to make a flyer or to kind of put something together. It's going to be from beginning to end. So I was going to have maybe 1 or 2 directors reach out and say, hey, I need a flyer. Maybe I need a cover photo, just a couple of basic things that we can run through and create them live, just so everyone can see what they look like. And then of course, I'll send it to the directors who choose to be a part of that. But Corey plugged in for the flyer, so that will be great. We'll definitely make a flyer for Corey. So Dennis, if you have something, maybe an event cover photo or anything like that you might want, you can let me know as well. But I'll make sure that we get a couple of you guys on there. Russell. Thank you, Russell. All right, awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for sticking with all of this. I hope this gives you guys a lot of really good information. I do know that one of our upcoming sessions that we have, I believe Michael might have the next one. Could be wrong. I'll double check on that. But we do have another session coming up in the future, and that one is going to cover Teams, which is my absolute favorite thing to talk about is Teams. So that should be good. But all right, everyone. Well, thank you again so much. I'll see you guys at the next one, and hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye.